In this video, we preview the new Storm Speeder Hammerstrike, we have a look at the weapons and discuss chapter tactics. Hello and welcome to Planet 40k, I'm Eugenio and today we're talking about the new Storm Speeder previewed by GW. I think there's a lot of excitement about this one and probably some fear if you're a Xenos player. I really like the model, and with 3 different types to choose from, there are plenty of ways to kit them out. GW have shown the datasheet for the Hammerstrike variant, which is the one we'll focus on in this video. The Hammerstrike is designed to be an anti-tank option, then you've got the Hailstrike, which is the anti-infantry option, and lastly the Thunderstrike, which is an anti-tank and an anti-flyer option. I think they're going to be a fast attack choice, although I didn't hear confirmation in the preview, so if anyone knows anything, let us know in the comments. I'll be shocked if it isn't a fast attack choice. The Hammerstrike is 9 power level, so this should equate to roughly 180 points, give or take. At 6 or more wounds remaining, the stats are movement 16, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 6, 10 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 7, and a 3+ save. So as you can see, your movement and ballistic skill and attacks will decrease as you go below 5 wounds. My first impression of the datasheet brings up some alarm bells, to be honest. While it does have good movement, toughness 6 and 10 wounds at 9 power level doesn't seem like a good deal, especially when you consider all the firepower in the game at the moment. But let's have a look at the rest of the datasheet and see if it's worth the price. It's got the Angels of Death ability, which is an umbrella for 3 abilities if you're new to Space Marines. It doesn't really affect the Storm Speeder that much, but I'll go through them quickly if you're new to Space Marines. We'll have to see if there are any changes to this when the Codex comes out next month, but for now they've got And They Shall Know No Fear, which allow you to reroll your fail morale tests, Shock Assault, which gives you +1 attack in any phase in which the unit made a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention, and Bolter Discipline, which doesn't really apply because it doesn't have any rapid fire weapons, but I'll leave it on the screen so you can check that one out. The next ability is Raven Wing, which is one for you Dark Angels players out there. If this unit is from the Dark Angels chapter or one of its successor chapters, it has the Raven Wing keyword. So this allows you to benefit from all the Dark Angels Raven Wing rules. We've also got the Explodes ability, which means when it's destroyed on a roll of a 6, the Storm Speeder explodes and does D3 mortal wounds to units within 6 inches. So this one's unchanged from the 8th edition rules. I noticed the Storm Speeder doesn't have the new core keyword, so I assume it's not going to benefit from any reroll auras. However, I do expect it to synergize with the Tech Marine. That said, as it's probably going to be moving around a lot, making use of the fly keyword, you probably won't use a Tech Marine to repair it very often. The Storm Speeder Hammerstrike is armed with a Hammerstrike missile launcher, 2 Crack Storm grenade launchers, and a Melter Destroyer. The Hammerstrike missile launcher is range 36 inches, heavy 2, strength 8, -3 AP, and 3 damage. So this is a pretty awesome weapon. Not many frills, just 2 strength 8 shots with a great AP and damage at a decent range, so it's a solid anti-tank weapon. Next up we have the Crack Storm grenade launcher. It's range 18, assault 1, strength 6, -1 AP and D3 damage. So this one looks like it will be effective against heavy infantry or things like bikes with toughness 5 and over. The D3 damage lets it down a little bit for me, so you can't guarantee taking out 3 wound models if you do manage to get through their save. However, I guess it is a bonus gun to the mainly anti-tank firepower on this unit. You do get 2 of them, so I guess it's a nice little extra. Lastly, we have the Melter Destroyer. It's range 24 inches, heavy 3, strength 8, -4 AP and D6 damage. It's also got the new Melter rule, which is each time an attack made with this weapon targets a unit within half range, that attack has a damage characteristic of D6 +2. So you're going to get a minimum of 3 there. So it's another Melter weapon and it's looking pretty deadly. You do have to get quite close to make the most out of it, but 3 Melter shots is still really good even without the Melter rule. You're likely to get somewhere between 7 and 14 damage if you manage to get the 3 damage rolls through. And when you add the melter rule, it's going to be really powerful. However, I do tend to miss a lot of these melter hit and wound rolls, so I'm not going to get too excited about this one. So with what we know about chapter tactics in 9th edition, I've picked out 3 of my favourites to use with the Storm Speeder. First up, I've picked out the Dark Angels. They're rumoured to be getting +1 to hit if the unit remains stationary, and I expect a lot of interaction with the Raven Wing keyword once they get their codex supplement. The only downside to this chapter tactic is that you don't benefit from it if you come in from reserves, so to get good use out of it you'll have to start on the board. If you do choose to do that, you're risking it being targeted first turn and you might not even get to use it. Also, the Melter Destroy is only 24 inches, so if you do start it on the board, you're probably going to have to move it anyway to get in range. Both parts of the Iron Hands tactic work well with the Storm Speeder. It's pretty weak for its cost, at least in terms of power level for now. It will be taken out pretty quickly, so ignoring wounds on a 6+ will go a long way to keeping it on the board. Going down to ballistic skill 4 or 5 will really make the Storm Speeder redundant. You really want to be hitting on 3s with those weapons. So double wounds on the damage chart is another great buff, keeping it firing well for longer. The Salamander's tactic of re-rolling 1 wound roll is great for all units, but especially for heavy weapons that don't have loads of shots. I wouldn't expect the Storm Speeder to last long unless there are ways to increase its durability with stratagems. So doing as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible, is going to be important if you want to make your points back. Ignoring AP -1 is okay, however I don't expect it to come into play that much, as your opponent is probably going to target the Storm Speeder with high AP weaponry most of the time. So those are my favourite tactics. I didn't do them in any order, so if I had to pick one, I think I'd go for the Iron Hands for the increased durability, which I think is the biggest weakness for the Storm Speeder. Another decent choice would be Ultramarines. Being able to fall back and still shoot is good, especially because you can't just fly away now, and trying to get into melter range you'll probably get tied up in combat at some point. Do let me know your favourite chapters in the comments, and do take these chapter tactics with a pinch of salt for now. Nothing's completely confirmed until we see the codex. I don't expect the Storm Speeder Hammerstrike to be the most competitive unit in the game, or even in its slot from what I've seen so far. We are still waiting for its points cost, but if it's around 180 points it seems far too weak, and I feel its guns don't really make up for that fact. You need to get it close enough to make good use of the Melter Destroyer, and I wouldn't expect it to last more than a turn or 2 if targeted properly. That said, we still have a lot of information to come with the release of the Space Marine Codex and the Codex supplements. One little rule change or a nice stratagem could twist things around for it. It does have decent synergy with some of the chapters I mentioned, and I imagine if there are some nice rules for Dark Angels and the Raven Wing keyword, that will be pretty nice. So please let me know what you think of this unit. Are you going to add it to your collection, or will you pass up on it? If you are looking to buy one, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on how you'd expect them to fit in with your army. If you enjoyed the video, please help us out by hitting the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more 40k content, and you can also find us on Twitter now. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.